Hello, brothers and sisters of Accounting 201. This is Brother Lewis for office hours on Thursday, 22nd of February. Nobody has joined that I'm aware of at this point, so I figured I might as well cover a few items that have come up here recently. One is this midterm feedback I'll go over, but probably more importantly for most of you that are looking towards this coming weekend is to review some practice exams. I just sent out a message about some practice exams that have been developed for your use. They will not necessarily show up in Canvas because they're not an official graded assignment, but you will find them in McGraw-Hill. So unfortunately, exam one, the optional, this one, you won't need to use, but in the future, you can use practice exam 2 to prepare for the upcoming exam, then 3 and 4, and then the final. What's nice about these is that they mimic the types of questions that you will get on the actual exams and help you, one, get familiar with them. So at a minimum, if you just go in, into the exam, you have unlimited attempts to get 100 points if you want, but you can begin it. You can then scan through the questions if you want, and see if you can work through a couple of them. So if I go to continue, right, there's I think there's 38 questions in here. So there's, it's not a full 50, but if you wanted to, you can go through and you can test your skills on this, right? So let's just see how this works. In the first year of operations, Grace Company reports the following, right? Net income under the accrual basis of accounting is, right? So revenue is 60,000, 52, okay, minus expenses of 35. So it should be, let's say, 25K. Oops, is that right? Okay, 60 minus 35 should be 25. Okay, so it should be 25K. So let's select that. And then, brilliant enough, I can check my work and shows the correct response so far. So yeah, I got it right. Okay, so I could, if I wanted to, go through this and test my understanding of some of these concepts from a practice standpoint, and then that should help me on the actual exam before I take it. So you can do that, and I hope that helps out. It is the only way you can find it, though, right? You go back to the student view. Sorry, go back to student view, and it's going to show student view. And mouse will actually work. Why is it not working? There we go. Okay, student view. And you'll see it up here at the very top, right before all the chapter specific videos. I don't have them grouped at all. They're just up there at the top. So you should see them in whatever section you happen to be. All right. So if you have any questions about those, feel free to give me a holler. Remember, they are purely optional. They do not count towards or against your grade, but they're meant to be there to help you in supporting the preparation for the exam. Then the other thing I wanted to go over is student feedback. So at this point, I think this is probably completed a week or two ago to get some feel for how I'm doing to help you out. And I like to focus on the things where I can improve, just to kind of give you a sense for what I'm trying to do if I can, and make sure you see, what's happening. Get some real-time feedback on the feedback you gave me. Some of these things I don't know if they're more of an aspect of an online curriculum versus being in person. There is quite a difference between the two, or if it's just me and I need to adjust my approach to teaching or being here as a facilitator, really of your learning. So let me walk through these, see if I can, provide some clarity on them. Some of them I may not be able to, but maybe some others I will. So let me make this, I'll just start at one. Apply gospel principles to concepts we are learning. That one I try to do at the beginning of each week by at least giving a spiritual thought and then seeing how it applies to learning in general. there's not much, with some exceptions, in the accounting realm where gospel principles specifically apply. And if it did, it might be more on the fundamentals or the foundational aspects. So where I can, I will try to do that a little bit better. Where I can't, we'll just have to hope that the spiritual thought I provide at the beginning of each week is sufficient. If not, I welcome any feedback on how you think I could apply this to the learning that you're doing. It's one thing to tell me what to do, but sometimes, as mentioned down here, it's helpful to know how to do it. Ask students questions to better understand their issues. That is definitely something I have to work on a regular basis. I oftentimes will move to a conclusion before I understand the full question, and most definitely I need to work on that. So I'll do what I can there. At this time, I can't think of it. I see be patient. I'm trying to be patient, so if I'm not doing that very well, I'm sorry. I know that sometimes maybe my responses could be seen as impatient, and I apologize for that, and I will definitely try to improve there. Be specific when references a video for help. Please reference whatever video, insert timestamps to help your question. Definitely understand this. Try to make it more effective and efficient for you to get to the information that I put out there. In this case, I probably won't do a timestamp because most of the videos I do are very short in duration anyway, or they cover a whole problem. And so I don't necessarily would put a date stamp on there, or a timestamp, but I definitely will do better at referencing the specific video that I have out there. Although I would say on one hand also, you are learners. You have been given the material. I expect you to search for it. And if you can't find it at first, since I've given you the playlist, I've given you, chapters, you know what chapters we're working in. I've given you hints and ideas on how to get to cheat sheets and some other things that help you with the learning. So I would expect that you first do what you can to figure out the information. So referring this back to a spiritual idea, Nephi was requested to figure out how to provide light. Lord didn't give him the exact approach, and he came up with the approach and asked the Lord if that works. So in many cases, I expect the same. Expect you take the first stab, to work hard, and then I'll fill in the blanks. But in this respect, I'll definitely do better on providing references if I'm referring to videos. Better information about the week in the announcement. My announcements, I do appreciate, are one fold, just kind of giving you the lay of land, but then I rely on the other videos I've done on the chapters to actually get into the details. So, like recently we had the ethics assignment. I had a video on how to do the ethics assignment. And I would argue I'd probably go through the statistics. Probably not more than about a quarter of the class actually watched the ethics video. And so I do everything I can to make sure that you get a full scope of what's going on and additional content. Not that I'm perfect at that, so I will definitely do a little bit more, focused view on what that looks like and see if I can do a better job of providing better information about the week in the announcement. Center exams on what was centered, exams on what was taught. This I have no control over. The exams are centered around the concepts in the exams. Some of them are harder questions that require you to be able to triangulate the information and to do some level of extrapolation. Some of them are very straightforward. Most of them are complex anyway, just because of the information that is in the book. And I've regularly identified areas where it is in the book. It's just that you may have not seen it, or you may have seen it and just didn't quite understand how to apply it. But there's really not much I can do on this thing. Communication. I try to provide as much communication as I can, but I will keep that on my mind. Continue to hold on to God. Thank you. Everything is good. No problem. Grading speed. Grading speed is a little bit of an interesting one to me. Grading speed would only be on presentations, ethics assignments, and those are the only two things where I directly give grading feedback. On the presentations, I wait until after the Saturday. You provide them on Wednesday, and I usually grade them on Saturday to see if you've responded to any questions that have come up. So that's well within the 7 days I'm required to make sure that I get feedback to you on your presentations. On the ethics assignment, I think they were turned in. The due date was on Saturday, and I had all of them graded by Tuesday. But before that, there were several of you that had submitted it before Saturday, and I believe I had provided feedback to all those before Saturday. And there's probably, I think about 20 to 30 who had provided their ethics assignment before Saturday. So I'm not sure I understand where grade speed is. If you're having a problem with me directly on how fast I'm grading, please reach out to me and just ping me and say, Brother Lewis, I haven't heard back. I need to hear back on that. Okay. So a little bit of, I think that one's on whoever feels that my grading speed is fast enough. He could be better at replying to grade changes for students so they can understand why their grade was changed. I really don't change grades. They come in through the assignments. Those grades impact your overall grade based on the weighting that's in the rubric or in the syllabus. I'm not exactly sure I understand this one. So I don't control that. You control how your grades go up or down, and you can tell, if you got a bad grade, if it took you down, or if you got a good grade, it took you up. So please, if there is more context here that you can provide, I'd be happy to look at it and see what I can do. He could do class Zoom meetings and get recorded. That way we could understand more. Most of the cases, these Zoom meetings I do every Thursday are attended by a very few folks. And in fact, today there is, let me double check, I'm just not rambling on. There's nobody attending this except for me. So to the extent that I have something more to add, other than what I added at the beginning of the week, I don't record these sessions and I don't post them. And if I do record them, they're specific to probably a problem, and I post that. And I have, in the 7 weeks we've been here, probably posted 2 or 3 weeks worth of stuff. But otherwise, oftentimes people will join these office hours and ask me questions that are very specific to them. And so I don't record those and publish those because they're sensitive in nature, personal in nature. Let's see, he is good. He make the information understandable. So awesome. I don't have any suggestions. I don't have anything. I honestly can't think of anything. I think that the workload is a lot. You're right. The workload is a lot. There is no doubt about it. And I try to warn folks up front that this class is a full, 12 to 14 credit hour class. And it possibly more if you're having difficulty with the material. Sometimes a little bit less for those that pick this up pretty easily. But on average, this is probably one of the hardest classes you'll take. So I'm sorry about that, but there's nothing within my control that I can do related to that. I think we could use all more interactive learning to help us learn and grow. Interactive learning in an online forum doesn't really work. The fact is that if you want interactive learning, you have to do it together as a student group to decide how you're going to, interact with each other to help each other with the learning material. Otherwise, as an instructor, my primary objective is to clarify questions, make sure you understand what's coming up, possibly add some additional content that's not quite, it's covered in McGraw-Hill fairly well, but sometimes the actual practice of it doesn't come across very well because you don't see people in action and doing the problems. And so that's why, how many classes have I taken online for BYU Idaho as a student myself? I have never had a teacher from a class provide as much content as I do that helps support the learning. There have been some videos that are provided, but largely none. And so from an online environment perspective, there's not that much interaction that goes on. You don't show up to a meeting. You don't show up, to class 2 or 3 times a week and have that interactive ability. You are largely learning it on your own. and asking questions where you have issues. So from this standpoint, while I would love to do this, anytime somebody asks me for help, I'm always available, usually within 24 hours, to provide a response. I can jump on Zoom if you're having questions. I can direct you to a tutor if the timeline is a little more appropriate to you, and you can have that interactive learning there. So there are a few options from the interactive learning standpoint, but there's not as much as if you were on campus in a classroom environment. It would be nice if the videos could be recorded and posted in the announcements. I think I've addressed that one. More interaction with students. So I'll provide as many interaction opportunities as you want. I'll go back to the other one, but let me change the tone of this response. If you need interaction, you need to let me know that you need that interaction, because most people don't. Reality is that there's probably, I'd say, about 50 to 75% students that don't either have the time for the interaction or don't want the interaction. They simply want to get through the material and get the grade. So if you are one of those that need the interaction, I'm more than happy to help you with the interaction, but you need to let me know where and how you want that. Nothing reduced time of his videos. That was a hard one. I'll try. I know I talk a lot sometimes. You could. I'll put this back on you. If you want to reduce the time of the videos, change the speed of what you listen to my videos to 2 times X. That'll half the amount of time that you're spending listening to me. You might have to, I think this contradicts probably one of the other comments, which is slow down. Yeah, slow down just a bit when explaining a complex concept in videos. And definitely, I do think so fast that sometimes my lips can't go as fast as my mind. So I'll try to slow down, which will increase the time of the videos. And if that slowing down increases it too much, then you may need to increase the speed at which you listen to me. But then increasing the speed at which you listen to me might require that I'm going too fast. So it's a little tricky thing, you know, trying to address a population of about 80 to 100 students and their different needs. I try to do that, but this one's a little bit of catch-22 for me. Anyway, respond to students in a timely manner. I believe I am on a 24-hour response time frame. Very rarely do I not respond within 24 hours. In fact, oftentimes based on what I perceive is happening, I'm usually in a 12-hour response time. So if I'm not responding within a couple of hours or a couple of minutes, I have other things that I'm doing as well. So especially if you're getting close to a deadline and you're scrambling or asking questions before the due date, I may or may not be able to get to your question. But so I really don't know where this one's coming from, because I can probably prove to the vast majority of you that my response time is very fast. So far as within talk less about hard things are going to be, and tell us what we can do. Definitely will do that. I think I probably try to emphasize a little too much, so I will see what I can do to tell you how you can do it. Although, remember, also the videos that I provide do walk you through how to do it. So if you're not taking advantage of the videos in the YouTube playlist or the videos in the McGraw-Hill, the concept videos that show you how to do things, then you would be remiss. But at the same time, I will see what I can do to be a little bit more focused on what you can do instead of how hard things are going to be. Teach a little bit more than just post random videos when people ask questions. I do have a lot of instructional videos out there. I'm not so sure that they're random because they're very specific about the problems that you're going to face. If you would like to talk to me about this a little bit more, I'd be happy to walk through it and understand your specific concern, but I don't post random videos. They're very targeted to the concerns and questions you have. And in fact, many of the support channel or support module questions can be answered with a video that I have already posted on a particular problem or a specific subject. If it hasn't, then please let me know, and I will most definitely do something to post something so not only that you can benefit, but future students can benefit from as well. Timing, I'm not sure about what that one is. And then transparency, I'm not sure what transparency means in this context. So if you feel like I'm not being transparent, please let me know, because I am pretty transparent. In fact, probably transparent to a fault. So in any case, I hope this kind of gives you a feel for some of the feedback that's come back on how I can improve. I think some of them definitely are things I can work on. So I appreciate the feedback, and I'm always, although initially it's sometimes, like a personal, it feels like a personal attack, but I know it's not intended to be that. I think it's very, very helpful to see and hear from the students on how I can do, and I hope that over time I've been able to tailor my approach to hit a broad spectrum of individuals, but yet still have the flexibility to target your specific needs. So if you have a need, please express it to me, because I will do my very best to respond to that need and see what I can do to help you do better in the class. And with that, I'll stop sharing, and then we can let me know if you have any questions on the exam before Saturday, so I can help wherever I can there. Okay, so I'm gonna stop sharing, and I'm gonna end this video. Have a great week. Bye.